Good morning. Welcome warmly. Today we start with the first episode of our podcast series with a very charming name, Girl from HR. Agnieszka Tykwińska, Timshel co-founder. I'll now give the floor to Kasia. Yes, Katarzyna Bączyk, second co-founder of Timshel. Milena is still with us. Hello everyone, Milena Wróblewska, HR manager at Timshel company. Let's begin. Milena, you can ask us questions. Today will be exceptional, as it will be all about us, Timshel, how the company was founded, our recruitment adventures, but also the idea for the podcast and where it originated from. So perhaps we can begin by discussing the name if you'd like. Well, the name is exactly what it sounds like. I find it interesting and inspiring. Kasia, confess, how often have you heard that Timshel is a team of shells? Oh my, I can't even remember how many times I've heard that name. Where did this name come from at all? Well, you see, maybe there's something in these seashells because the name was created in the Dominican Republic, on a beach. Undoubtedly, the name has no connection to the English language at all, but rather to the Hebrew language, right? Is that correct, or am I mistaken? However, Timshel is the Hebrew word for you may. This word carries a profound philosophy, which was made widely known by John Steinbeck in his renowned novel East of Eden. And I was simply lying on this Dominican Republic, fresh after obtaining my business coach certification. I was reading about coaching, because this name is also somehow deeply connected with coaching. And then I thought that if I ever start a company, I will name it Timshel. What we do, how we perceive reality, we give meaning to what we see, and in fact we take responsibility for everything we do. That is the rationale why this value has consistently accompanied me throughout my life, and I proposed it to Agnieszka in this particular location. Aga also determined that it is acceptable, and that is how the name Timshel was formed, which is also highly aligned with our principles in the business sector. We also endeavor to be such advisors and partners, sharing our experience. However, in reality, it is ultimately the candidate and the client who make the decision about what to do next. Let's go back in time and tell me, how did the company come into existence? We know where the name came from, before the company was established, but how did the company come into existence and how did you enter HR? Aga, will you begin? Yes, I am able to start. Essentially, we encountered Kasia in a sizable corporation where we collaborated. It was a company associated with the clinical research industry. I mean, it still is, because it exists all the time. The capital of the Netherlands is now already under the control of the United States, and it was there that we actually ran into Kasia, very briefly. That was our lasting adventure then. We felt the chemistry and the karma more intensely, which clearly brought us closer to each other. Do you even remember where it was? We were standing at the intersection of streets, and I said that I regret that we know each other for such a short time. And you replied then that you feel we'll do business, because these streets reflected the intersection that simply happened in our lives, right? Our paths have intersected, precisely. We stated that we would continue, correct? This shared path. So this is how it all started. However, when it comes to our HR-related experience, specifically recruitment, maybe I'll start with myself because it was probably the most interesting, as I took my first steps in a British recruitment agency and recruited welders for Great Britain. And I have to say it was definitely quite a challenge because these positions were characterized by a remarkably high level of uniqueness in candidate acquisition. When delivering it to the client, the primary objective was for this candidate to actually commence working. So motivation was crucial here. Yes, first of all. And basically after my experience with welders, I ended up in a very large recruitment agency, a global one, where we met. Right, Milena? Yes, that is indeed correct. It is the exact place where our paths crossed and intersected once more. And there were already more advanced positions present in closer proximity to the business operations. It was Manpower, an agency highly regarded and well respected in the competitive market. After my time at Manpower, I eventually found myself in this very company where I had the pleasure of meeting Kasia. I transitioned to Docs Global, a company specializing in recruitment within the life science field. Given my personal affinity for life science, It has become a key focus in our business operations. When it comes to the Shell team, we feel exceptionally competent and strong in this area. It is the closest to our expertise and holds great significance for us. In a short while, we will return to the industry and the projects that are most popular in Timshel, but maybe Kasia will share with us some insights about her path in HR, providing us with valuable information about her journey and experiences in this field of work. My journey began as a psychologist. Upon completing my studies, I remained captivated by psychology and made the firm decision to dedicate myself solely to this field. My goal was to assist individuals, facilitate their healing, and engage in other related endeavors. However, regrettably, I was employed there for a short time, but somewhere deep down, I always had a feeling that this kind of recruitment path was also close to me, and after working as a psychologist, I ended up in a smaller recruitment agency like that. However, also from the start, when I worked in recruitment, it was specifically the life science industry that became very important to me. And actually since 2009, even 2008, I have been in this industry consistently throughout the entire time. Later, I went through multiple recruitment agencies, but I always had this strong desire to do something on my own as well.
Yes?
It expanded a bit more in various industries because in reality, prior to meeting Agnieszka, I also had experience working in the United Kingdom, so we also have, I am not a welder, but I have worked in the field of production. And I remember that HR started with me in such a way that they were simply looking for people who spoke Polish and English because they recruited the most Poles for this production. And that's when I discovered the world of HR and realized that this is absolutely the direction I want to go in. I returned to Poland, I went to master's studies already directional, I met Agnieszka just in the aforementioned manpower agency, and then I dreamed of going to internal HR departments, so I went a slightly different path. Because I went this path of internal HR departments, I reached the position of HR manager, and happily 4 years ago. I became a member of your team, joined Timshel company. It was a great decision, and I'm extremely happy. So that is a succinct and condensed summary, providing an overview of our organization and what we are all about. So, let us go back to the industry that the girls mentioned, which is the field of life science. Perhaps you could provide an explanation to our listeners regarding what life science entails? Indeed, life science is an industry that is broadly defined and focuses on holistic care for humans, emphasizing health and well-being as its core principles. And here, as part of the life science industry, we have multiple areas that we concentrate on. These are clinical trials that happen to be the closest to my current location. This is medical equipment, for which Kasia is responsible in this specific area. These are biotechnology companies from the pharmaceutical sector, yes, big pharma. To summarize, in a nutshell, also laboratory diagnostics, yes, absolutely. All matters that genuinely concern human health, yes. However, is it indeed the case, ladies, that you solely specialize in the field of life science? No, fundamentally, as the company initially started to develop, other clients also began to approach and seek our services. It mainly resulted from recommendations and the fact that one of our clients was satisfied with it. From this, how recruitment process was conducted, and we were recommended elsewhere, so besides life science, we also have publishing industry. We work for Evoca, which surely everyone knows. We are strongly rooted in finance. These are companies that, for example, have various types of shared services, and we are strongly embedded in financial structures. Insurance, yes, insurance. Girls, did you also mention that life science is this core? But we also have various other industries that appear in connection with recommendations, that HR is moving to other companies, that business is moving to other companies and taking us along with it. I wanted to inquire, what is it that you appreciate about HR in general? Well, I have a deep affection for HR due to its focus on the human element, you know. I am also a psychologist by education, although I do not practice. I am engaged in the application of psychology right here, and it brings me great joy and fulfillment in my life. And thus, in actuality, I also had the chance to work in internal human resources, because I was engaged in human resources in the region. I worked for a company that was dedicated to information technology, so I had the opportunity to taste these various areas here, but this recruitment is actually the one that is closest to my heart, because it is connected with the aspect of mission, how we help our candidates in choosing a new path, and I found that to be incredibly fulfilling. That we appear just in time, and for these individuals we are capable of creating a substantial impact, provided that they are also in alignment with it, because it should be emphasized that we do not take any action through coercion, and we never persuade applicants to participate in any procedure if it goes against their volition. I believe there is also a distinguishing factor that sets us apart significantly, which is that we do not attempt to compel ourselves to conclude or prove, but rather we are highly steadfast in our actions, in how we establish our network of contacts, and as a result, we are also valued by our candidates, who return to us consistently whenever they are prepared to work and make changes within themselves. Returning to the question, as I digressed a bit. HR loves it because it's simply about people for people. And I think that here, referring to what you said, Aga, it is also important that for us the candidate is a client and the employer is a client. And this world permeates to such an extent employers become our clients, candidates for job positions. Simply, probably the most amazing thing, such a closed world. At one point you're a client, in another you're a candidate. You are a candidate, in 5 years, in 10 years you become our client. This is amazing and fantastic. I believe that besides Agnieszka's statement, because I also agree with it, it's such diversity, isn't it? Each day our situation varies, and despite our years of experience in this industry, we have witnessed a lot, endured a lot, and encountered numerous challenging, intriguing situations. However, something unexpected always seems to arise, doesn't it? I believe that the field in which we are engaged here is also the most fascinating and somehow draws us to this hiring process, because it is medicine, isn't it? Something is also constantly changing here. We can witness the invention of brand new products, medical equipment that truly... They are literally cosmic, you can say that. Correct. And thanks to this you have the ability to alter the world for the better. So these are likely the two primary factors. I believe I also enjoy HR because, as you mentioned, it offers a great deal of diversity, but also because it provides continuous learning opportunities. New roles are emerging, the market is changing, we can't stand still, we are going together with them.
We're always, aren't we? Yes, always, in dev mode.
Because let's remind ourselves of Timshel's motto, yes, we recruit, you rise. And this is the actual approach that we truly follow. That is, we recruit candidates for our clients, and thanks to that, they experience growth, their business develops, their values evolve. So this is something that we have been guided by from the beginning in our company at the moment of its creation. And this is also something that we strongly adhere to and prioritize. Yes. And let's keep in mind that both the employer and the candidate are our clients, so it is important for both the candidate and the employer to experience growth, and we derive satisfaction from witnessing these positive developments. We also grow then. Everyone is satisfied. Growth drives us. Ladies, let us return to the subject of the podcast then. Where did the concept to record podcasts originate from in any way? So perhaps I will state here that I am the mother of this child when it comes to the concept. You can acknowledge that it was my idea. Yes. Well, basically I have been thinking about these podcasts for a long time, but I didn't feel that readiness within myself to start with this topic. But it began to come to me from different sources, from different individuals, and I also made the decision that these stories about business, the world, must be shared. This information that is known to us but not fully to everyone needs to be released into the universe. But they are known. We truly care about constructing good practices, establishing these good practices in the market so that we effectively adhere to this mission, this value system. This is highly significant to us. So what we will desire to share with you and what we will approach you with will be a variety of topics, but everything will be related to humans. Related to HR. And deeply ingrained in this our business, yes, life science, which is particularly close to us and with which we have a strong and profound sense of connection that resonates deeply within us. And to whom, listen, will we be directing our podcasts? I believe that our target audience will be extensive, making it challenging to provide a specific description here. It will encompass individuals who hold positions such as company managers, HR managers, heads of departments in corporations, as well as owners of smaller businesses. Additionally, we will have a dedicated segment addressing the needs of these smaller businesses. These will, of course, be candidates, whether they are entering the job market, already present in this market, or require such a kick to initiate a change and cultivate the motivation to go further in their career. So I wouldn't narrow it down in this specific context. I believe we will go quite wide in terms of our approach. So it's a bit like in recruitment projects where once you're the client and I'm the candidate, the target audience is a mix of decision makers involved in the recruitment process and candidates themselves. I also think that we should not forget about young people who are entering the market with their first experience, because we also observe a significant disparity in passing knowledge to these individuals, as they often lack awareness of market trends, navigating the job market, and job search strategies. Therefore, we will undoubtedly prioritize the development of this topic. In my opinion, it is also worth mentioning that we consistently act with good intentions in all our actions and decisions. And it is very important for us that these good intentions translate into good practices that work in the market, that simply become second nature to these candidates, these clients. And this is something that we will strongly promote, because that is also our cooperation. Our collaboration is built on the foundation of partnership, trust, mutual respect, and the practice of speaking the truth. No matter whether she is comfortable or uncomfortable, but this truth must always resonate. So this is what we will be guided by here, creating further content for our listeners. I believe the menu is intriguing because we have information, insights from the business, trends, new structures, new roles in the market, new systems, implementations, and great opportunities to experience the job market from the candidate's perspective, right? And these trends have been undergoing changes over the past few years, I believe, very intensively. And the changes are noticeable. Well, ladies, is there anything you would like to provide a summary of regarding today's meeting?
Difficult question.
No, generally that is not usually the case. You see, it's always there. I think this is such a cool start that will help us build something new, something that will be an inspiration for many people, but also for us, because this is another project of ours that drives us to further action, to development, to pushing our own boundaries, to stepping out of our comfort zone, which is, well, it is comfortable, but only when we manage to get out of it, then we are able to see what life can offer us further and what challenges we can face further. I think we can also announce the next episode and our next guest, because it's also a very interesting story. I am referring to Marek, who will be joining us in the upcoming episode. I got to know the brand through my intense business development activities, which Kasia encouraged me to pursue and engage in with great enthusiasm and dedication. She encouraged, Kasia, call Agnieszka, call. I know he needs your support, call him. Yes, that's how our adventure with Marek started. Marek is a GM in one of the large business firms we encountered. Biotech will be our next guest, where we'll discuss various interesting aspects of HR with a focus on local businesses and the advantages they offer in recruitment activities. We'll delve into the biotechnological industry and explore how it impacts HR practices in local companies. I am unable to wait. I simply need to include that we are also open, correct? If our recipients have a desire to listen to something, then we are certainly open and fully prepared to create and provide another piece of material that is specifically tailored to their preferences and needs. Definitely, yes.
Also, Marek, get ready. It's your turn soon.
I am deeply appreciative of your kind support. Thank you.
Ready?
Thanks, girls. Thanks. Goodbye, see you in the next episode. Thanks, see you.